well as being a guitarist, you're almost also famous for your flamboyant stage costumes.
Yeah.
Can you describe some of them and what it was like to wear them?
Well, there's a lot of kind of humour behind these costumes. I had two people in Birmingham. They were students and they made clothes, art students, and they could make things. So I always had ideas. I'd say, look, I'm going to Japan. Do you think we can make me a glam rock kimono? Or something like that, right? And we built up a few ideas about broad shoulders and you know, tight leathery trousers and high stacked heel boots and all that. And what I used to do sometimes, there's one costume in particular that they didn't make, which was hilarious. I got this idea. I wanted to look like an Egyptian. Now, if you look at me in my early days, I could almost be, with a short fringe and long sides, a little bit Egyptian looking, you know, those hairstyles I had. And I had this idea about having a headdress, you see, that would be like an Egyptian headdress.
Yeah.
And then I've got this long, which looked like a frock, but it went to the floor. And I got hold of these circular mirrors that Nod had got on his hat, but I got some big ones. And I stuck them all on this black background. Then I got this silver headdress on. And I thought, that's it, Egyptian.
Yeah.
So I hid it. And when I went to Top of the Pops, and this is a true story, this used to happen, no one knows what I'm wearing, you see.
Yeah.
And I'll go into the bathroom in the dressing room in Top of the Pops, and the band are in the other room, you see. And Nod always tells the story where they can hear me inside. Hairspray's been, he can hear the and he said, oh, he's doing that. What's going on here? You know, and then he goes, reveal all, Mr. Hill. And it's like, he's going to come out in a minute. Well, I come out in this outfit, and Chas Chandler rolling on the floor laughing, and Nod creased. Jim's looking a bit funny, like, you're not going to wear that, are you? Oh, I am going to wear that. I said, and Chas says, I think we've got another number one. And he was right, and what just come on, feel the noise. And I said, well, it's Egyptian. And it was a bit like, oh, yeah, right, and you're going to wear that? Yeah, I'm going to wear that. And I said to Nod and Jim, because they were writing these, I said, I'll tell you what, you write them, and I'll sell them. And I went on Top of the Pops, right, and the following week, there's a picture of me in one of the trays, the tabloids, and this thing. And I think they call me the Metal Nun. The Metal Nun's on Top of the Pops, and we knocked Rod Stewart off the top. And then I think Ronnie Wood was like, I don't like that Dave Hill. In a nice way. I don't like him. But, you know, it's just peculiar because some people, you know, they can't handle it. You know, some musicians, they go, we're a serious band, we don't wear those kind of clothes, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm an extremely serious guitarist. I can play classical guitar. I play lots of things. Acoustics, I'm good on that. I've always been at an ear for melody, and I express. I don't pillock around. I'm not someone that reads notes and formulate it. I'm someone that listens to things and it's natural. And the guitar playing is foremost of the most important thing to me. It's helped me survive that stroke. It's helped me survive depression. Music, playing the piano as well, I do that. It's been a lifesaver of something that is so much in you. It's not like my dad said to me, he said, you've got it, David. Other people have to work at it, but you've got it in you. And I believe that. I just think, you know what, it's not about picking a guitar up every day and practicing scales. No. Scales are good, but it's a different love affair. I'm going in the back garden playing bits of classical, and the neighbours shout, you know, oh, I quite like that one. And I'm not scared because I enjoy the environment. Like today is a lovely day. It's blinking freezing, but I could easily sit outside, and then sometimes you can hear a robin bobbing around, you know, and you can see, you know, sometimes they come close to you, and I'm usually playing something, and I look at the Robin, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if he's hearing what I'm playing. Yeah, a rocking Robin. Kind of pleasant.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you, Dave, do you have any advice for young people who are perhaps starting out in the music business now?
I think people are fairly savvy and wise, more wise than we were.
Yeah.
You know, we'd sign contracts because we wanted to get somewhere. You know, you do, and we all did that.
Yeah.
Didn't always make the greatest decisions, but the point is, I think what we did was right. Now I think you're dealing with... my advice would be not to be thinking of fame necessarily, because it can not often be self-destructive.
Yeah.
Because in some cases you see people on reality shows and they lose. And it can be soul-destroying because maybe some of those people are quite good but they're not ready.
Yeah.
You go on a big show and you're seen by millions, and then suddenly, like, you can be history in 5 minutes, and it can be... You know, you get people like Adele, who's a natural great singer, writes great songs, and she comes out of... I mean, I didn't really know her before, and I know her now, but she comes out of a girl in the East End, I suppose, or wherever she came from, and singing in pubs and clubs, and then the natural sort of talent. It's very nice to have an artist like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's nice that it comes from our country. There are some good people here. There's Ed Sheeran and people like him, you know. I know people that know him when he used to doss about and play guitar, but he naturally writes, and he's quite a complete artist.
Yes.
And there are many. James Blunt is another one I know personally, and then groups wise, I mean, obviously, I think music is music. The way music's sold now is different. People have the internet. We didn't have that. We didn't have that kind of thing. So therefore, it had to be working live, try to get on TV, Radio 1. That was all it was in those days. And if you got on both of them, you were certainly on your way. But now I think the strongest thing is do it because you enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, it'll be something you'll have forever. You know, some people say, oh, I'd like to learn to play guitar. And I say, well, get one then. And just start and just pick it up and learn a few chords. It's that way, and you'll know in the end, because my first guitar was terrible. It was got strings on about half a foot off the fretboard. It was £7.50 from Kay's catalogue. But you know what? I got it upside down because I'm left-handed. But you know what? I learnt it. I learnt this rubbish guitar, and then I bought a decent one, which is great. So it isn't, you know, you don't need a fancy Gibson, you don't need a fancy Fender. No. You can buy those, but it's not about that. It's about something, and not everybody's got it, of course. Some people start off doing something, they don't stick to it. And Dad said, well, I'll buy you a cheap guitar, and if you decide not to carry on, at least it won't waste money. But I stuck it, and then my teacher said, you've got to get a better guitar. And I got a better guitar, and of course then it went on from there. So there is something that attracts me towards the six strings, and also it's the beauty in some things that you do, and not everything's rock. Sometimes it's quite sort of mournful, or I'm very good with ballads. They're miserable sometimes, yeah, but I write things like that. You know, I don't know what it is. What we call the minor chords, which is major is very bright and rock and roll, but minor is very more melancholy, you know, sort of reflection, which I've got that as well. But as I say, my strongest advice is don't be thinking of fame. It could come, but more think, do I enjoy this? And integrate with fellow people so that you don't become sort of like someone staring at a laptop, which everybody does, and sometimes you become just too much on your own, and therefore it needs it needs people to integrate with you to create something which is, you could get, I don't know, you can put a bunch of singers together and individually they may not be that great, but together they sound great. It's just like the yin and yang of things, you know, like Lennon and McCartney. One's like John Lennon, probably the more rough-edged, and McCartney melodic and smooth. Combination of the two is you get those extraordinary lyrics, you know, because that's what it is. It's not about everybody necessarily getting on, but it's an interreaction. That's what I found with Slade. Because individually we're quite different from each other, you know. Because when we used to have nights off, we never went out with each other, we went out with our girlfriends. But when we come together, we had this force, undeniable. Because I always think, you know, what would have happened if I'd have chose somebody else to be the singer, but that didn't happen. It happened. It happens because it happened. I'm not trying to read anything into it, but maybe it's determination in you to make something work. And I think determination. If somebody wants to do something, some people can go to work every day and come home and play guitar and they enjoy that. Some people get in weekend bands, they enjoy that. There is methods of making music now, and you can get it out on the internet. So everybody's capable, believe it or not, of writing a song. I don't know if you know that, but it's true. Yeah. It may not be a great song, but it means people are capable of humming a few words or things like that. Doesn't mean to say it's going to get anywhere, but everybody has music of some form in them.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, Dave, what are your 3 personal favourite Slade songs that you really enjoy performing most?
How Does It Feel? Because I think that's not our biggest hit, but it's one of the best songs Nod and Jim wrote. Yeah. Great lyrics. They never date. Never. I like My Oh My, which was a big hit in the 80s. Massive hit in Europe. It's a really good. I like it because I like my guitar playing in it. And if I had to pick a song which I think epitomises Slade, it wouldn't be the Christmas song, but it would be Come On, Feel the Noise. Yes, yeah. Brilliant. That epitomises exactly what we are. Great rock and roll band.